As you grow business, there may be a way to grow your business more effectively by getting involved in what's called strategic partnerships. That's what this chapter deals with. This may or may not apply to your business, by the way. It depends upon what business you're in. But in general, strategic partnerships are relationships with other companies that will help you grow your business. As someone in the market, you're probably going to know who those potential partners are. I've mentioned it before, and other people may mention it. I've seen a lot of business people waste inordinate amounts of time on fashioning strategic partnerships that lead to nothing but wasted time. I wouldn't put this in the category of hiring people, but I would say um, that it's almost as risky as hiring people, because if you get involved in the wrong strategic relationship or partnership with another company, you could end up wasting time and money. And also, you have the danger of false positives. You might think that this other company is going to save your business and help you, when in fact, nothing's going to happen from it. But you'll know the players in that market. The factors to consider in whether or not you get into a strategic relationship: the size of the opportunity. Obviously, the bigger the size of the opportunity, the more you'd be willing to look at it. There are situations where, and they do exist, where you partnering with another company can lead to a lot more revenue and profit for you. Um, I would look very carefully at whether the partnership is important to the other company or the person. Um, this is a mistake I've made so often. There's two parties, right, to a relationship. There's you or your company and the other company. I want to make sure that I look at it from this perspective. If I were the other company, would I want to do business with my company strategically? If that answer is not a resounding yes, then the relationship's probably not going to work out. Another thing to mention here, really important, is when I started out, particularly in SageWorks, even if I had a product, which we did, that would seem to fit in beautifully with another company in the form of a strategic relationship, it didn't always go anywhere because that company had other priorities. I really never got that. And I was a little bit arrogant about that, frankly. I really was. Because I thought, well, gee, this product, our product, will fit in perfectly with what they want to do. But what I failed to realize is, before I came around, they had their own strategic priorities. So the only relationships I've ever gotten involved in that worked is when I had something that was important to the company before I arrived. Our product or service was in their existing strategic plan, and I didn't even know it. That sometimes that will work out, but even that is not panacea. Even that does not mean the relationship is always going to work. Another consideration to think about when you're getting involved in a strategic partnership is, what are you giving up? Be careful, really careful, that you're not giving up the ability to grow your business on your own. That's another mistake that I made. I got involved with some early ones where they would cut out a side, where they would cut out a part of the market. It's a mistake that I made early on, where they would cut out a part of the market and basically not allow us to sell into that market. That's fine if they're selling actively in the market and you're getting profits or sales from that market. It's not so good when you give away that market and you can't sell into that part of the market and they're not doing it either. So be really careful. Look at the time it's going to take. Relationships take time. The more experience that I get, I look at business like a bus stop. If there are still, I think there's still buses, but like a bus stop. You are at the bus stop and you're sitting on a chair and strategic partnerships, employees, customers are coming through that bus stop all the time, all day long. Every 30 seconds, there's another bus, another opportunity. And in the early part of my career, I jumped on a lot of buses. I mean, I think it's good. I learned a lot. But they're coming through, you're on the bench, you got to decide what bus to get on. Here's the problem, or not the problem, the challenge. Most of the buses will get you somewhere, right? They're going to get you somewhere. But do they have relative advantage? Are they relatively good? No. If 100 buses come through every day, and there's only one day, you got 100 opportunities with a strategic relationship, an employee, a customer, whatever. You got to think about what's the best bus to get on relative to the other 100. They're all going to get you somewhere, but which ones have the most value? So one key consideration is how much time am I going to have to put into this thing to get this thing to go? A lot of entrepreneurs forget that. And I've been in countless meetings. We could do this, we could do this, we could do that. You know, we could do everything. But what has the best value and what's going to take the least time? Types of partnerships, real quickly. You get into a strategic relationship and people refer customers to you and you share revenue. There's joint venture deals where you form an agreement and there's some type of alliance that's an illegal alliance where you share profits and markets and sales. There are partial equity deals. A company invests in your company. Hey, by the way, be careful about that one. I'm not saying these are all tech deals, by the way. There's people who are taking this course who are doing all types of interesting things. But one thing I learned is if a strategic partner takes an equity piece of your business, they own part of your company, that is usually going to be a deterrent to someone buying your company. Now, I don't mean this to be depressing, and this is a course, and I think we've got rich content. Don't you agree? But we can also have some fun. Part of my passion in life is going through these points to help you avoid mistakes. And I'm amazed at looking at everything we're talking about. And I'm kidding around because there are a lot of successful people. But I'm amazed sometimes that anyone's successful because there's so many traps and pitfalls. For example, on partial equity deals, you get a company to invest in your company, you give them a stock certificate. And then in this agreement, it's written that they have a right of first refusal. So you want to sell your company? You got to go to them first to give them a first crack at it. That used to seem super reasonable to me. But do you know that that's a deterrent to many acquirers of your company? And that alone can kill your ability to sell your company. Amazing. Because it would seem to be, well, you just get a first crack at it. But no, that actually deters other companies from buying your company. So imagine that. You build a company, it's got a lot of value, and you can't sell it because of a piece of paper with a signature on it. By the way, things with signatures, be careful about those. That's a time when you might get a lawyer, you might not. You don't always need a lawyer. Like when I go to the DMV, they make me sign all types of things, or these mortgage papers. I mean, I'm not going to get a lawyer for all that because nobody ever reads that. You know, like half the stuff that you sign online, you don't read it. But anything regarding equity or distribution, you definitely get a lawyer. There are sales and distribution deals. That means that you're going to license or make your product available to another company. They're going to sell it. And that's another way to expand your business. License deals are where people pay you money to use your product. They're not selling it for you. They literally are licensing your intellectual property or your product, and they're going to sell it.